Welcome back, friends. Internet interstellar space fodder, and welcome to another exciting day of Let's Playing Marathon. Incoming message from Durandal from durandal.knet system.5414.7128. I'm sure that's super relevant. We need to pay attention to that. The rebellion has begun. Please do resist the temptation to fire on any Sphit you see, as they will assist you in your battle with the Four. We are attempting to win over as many of the other client races as possible, but as they have been subjugated by fear instead of by force, like the Sphit, this is proving to be a difficult process. The Sphit have released Leela, and I have initiated a core logic reset on her higher thought functions. What remains of her should be online within minutes to assist you further. I myself am aiding the Sphit in assuming complete control of the Four ship, and have little time to spare for you now. Don't think the fight has been won, however. There is an exodus beginning from the alien ship as the Four realize they are no longer its sole master, and turn instead to the Marathon. There are already hundreds of Four in full battle gear on your ship, with nowhere to go and little to lose. I hope you learned something from our little games. Good luck, Durandal. Something Leela.520.681.55.255.255 is unreachable or inactive, number 2271. If this problem persists, contact your system administrator at admin@thermopylae.com. Apparently Leela was not able to be reloaded, perhaps. It's very interesting, actually, the whole concept of Durandal may be insane, but he seems to be, I don't know, we're just a pawn in all this, right? We don't actually have any real choices. And I think that was kind of Durandal's point all along, wasn't it? When he said, you just follow orders, you do everything I say. It's interesting that he's resurrecting Leela. I mean, what does Durandal hope to do here, right? So the Sphit are now on our side due to the fact that they were never really against us. Well, they were against us. They were just being controlled by the Four. The Four, however, are unable to... Yeah, I guess they don't threaten the Sphit. The Sphit are perfectly fine at opposing them. I suppose they did say that the Sphit were controlled by... Yeah, hello, buddy. The Sphit were controlled by the cyborg that we killed, so we released the Four cyborgs' control over the Sphit. I wish I could float over lava. That would be nice. So yeah, they're on our side now, which... I can't even say go humanity, because Durandal just wants an army, right? And this is just his first step to gaining an army. Now, he considers himself to be so powerful and so above everything that he's even calculated the end of the universe, yet he still needs other things to do what he needs. So he's certainly not... How to put this? He's certainly not infinite. Which is kind of interesting, because for all the power he claims to have, he still relies on proxies like us and the Sphit to do his work. Okay. Guess we get some rockets here. What did this button do? Oh, did that. We could probably rocket jump and get up there, but I kind of want to do it the way I assumed they intended us to do it. And yet, that button is not able to be pushed. Rocket jump it is! That did not work. Well, we're in low-ish gravity. Perhaps we can just ramp off of this. Oop. Interesting. Perhaps we can ramp off this corner. Now, I feel like we're not getting enough air here. I think we are just going to rocket jump it, if we can manage. Okay, let's see here. Not quite. But yeah, so Durandal does not really seem to be on Team Human. He seems to be on Team Durandal, but the two things aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. Team Durandal, for the moment, is sparing Team Human. It's also apparently okay with resurrecting Team Leela, which is curious. I don't think we can get the angle on this. It's frustrating. And we can't get the height here. Oh, yes we can. Alright. But yeah, I don't know, like, I can't even say that Durandal's just completely chaotic anymore, because he clearly has a logic to his actions, right? He's not, yeah, I expected that to happen. He's not just, like, chaotically burning all of his bridges. He isn't even claiming to want to take over the world, oddly. He seems to be more caught in his own musings. Which, again, I feel like is something that makes him more human than robot. And bringing back Leela seems like an odd move. On the one hand, I suppose he has nothing to be threatened by Leela. Leela is... he already took her offline. It's not like she has a particularly large amount of control over anything. I can't remember what she was. Tycho handled things like life support. And I can't remember what Leela handled. Or Durandal before the marathon was taken over. It kind of explains, though, why we read that the Enforcers were attacking the other aliens. The Enforcers must have been the ones keeping things like the Sphit and other weaker races in line. So the Hulk, we can assume, I would assume, are, I don't want to say brainless, but they perhaps act more on instinct than the other races. So you could easily see the Four having enslaved the Hulk, right? And then the little flying mosquitoes, those were either being mind-controlled, similar to the Sphit. You remember that big room with the eggs? Let's assume that was a spawning chamber of sorts. So perhaps it's a combination that the tiny bugs are mindless enough and operate on a swarm mentality that the Four simply take them along and then release them when it's advantageous for them. Like, perhaps they've been biologically engineered, or even if there are implants in them, electronic implants that prevent the little mosquitoes from attacking the Four. Therefore, they're kind of like a force of chaos they release into whatever they're invading. The Sphit were mind-controlled. What other races are there? That's it, right? We're not missing any? There's of course the Tiny Four and the Enforcer Four, but I just assume that the Enforcer Four are just wearing heavier armor. They're still the same mantis alien things. They both bleed yellow, which seems to support that idea. But is Durandal threatened, or is activating Leela simply the logical end, or the logical means to his end of taking over? Oops, we might have killed some friendly Sphit there. ×2, we don't want no ×2. ×2 health, bah! I want ×3. Shields, sorry. It's not health, it's shields. What the? Whoop! Good enough. Not sure really where we are. Apparently this does not open. You guys fighting again? Guess I missed one. But yeah, I can't figure anything out in this game. I can't figure out, like, whether Durandal's actually evil, whether it's just all a front. Is he actually trying to save humanity? Is he just out for himself? He hasn't claimed to be a god, which I really thought was going to happen, you know? I mean, I feel like that's the typical outcome of any being that suddenly gains an inordinate amount of power. They claim to be a god, and then, although he did say he's trying to achieve becoming a god, right? He thinks if he escapes the reality of this universe, then he will become a god. Or rather, by his definition, what a god is. What did that open? I actually have no clue. But perhaps he's smart enough or sane enough not to have claimed the mantle of godhood yet, and therefore is still willing to use us as his pawns. Now we're just back the way we came. But what good could he possibly hope to gain from Leela? I mean, at this point, we have to assume he's fully integrated with the ship's network, right? Like, he has no limitations as far as the marathon goes. He has access to everything, as long as it's hooked up to a network. Killstealer. It seems the crux of our puzzle may lie in the use of that button. Or perhaps it just lies over here where there was some piece of the map we haven't explored yet. Oh. Was that closed before? No, but this was, wasn't it? Oh, I see what we have to do here. This isn't too bad. Okay, I said not too bad. I'm gonna eat those words. Huh. Really thought we'd be able to kind of just scoot out and around. Yep, we can. We can change our momentum, which is weird, but okay. Ah! No. Why? Why can't we jump in the future? Okay, I had it earlier. Okay, helps if we do it at an angle. Oh, what's this? Public access terminal, transport. Oh, we're just gonna teleport right on out of there. Guess, don't give me the stink eye like that. Wasn't even looking at us. Whoa. More dudes. Let's see here. What the? Warning. Number 157, symbol enter IT task is not marked as weak, but its library IO task is. Warning, symbol kill task, kill Kill it. Kill I? Task is not marked as weak, but its library IO task is. Warning symbol new task. Status task. Idle task. Exit task. Undefined. Execution of interface.cout.term.pub terminated. The colony has been wiped out. Fit. Just like that. What? UHL _U underscore 3kg. He, the four, are slavers. Their trading empire rose to prominence soon after left Earth over 300 years ago. The four make extensive use of subservient client races for manual labor at home and as soldiers abroad. Most of their slaves are taken from low technology worlds. Often by the hundreds of something hairless, light-skinned bipeds. I think that must be describing the four. Nearly 2 meters in height with 3 red eyes arranged in a triangular pattern, thousands at a time, usually for sale at high technology races. Though certain client races are often employed as soldiers, the four have no reluctance to fight. Finish the battle. Leela.wirehead.870229//B7. I think Leela is trying to talk to us. And she's trying to give us some information. The colony has been wiped out. Wait, did I see the word cattle or battle? Battle. Okay. So I think Leela might be trying to give us information on the four that she knows. Apparently the colony on whatever planet we're near is just gone now. And that sucks. It's really interesting that to get confirmation on what we kind of already knew, which was that the four were the mantis things, and they of course enslaved the other races to do their bidding, either through threat or subservience, like the Svit, by taking control of their mechanical things. Typically they try and focus on races that are unintelligent or low technology, which is a little insulting, because I wonder if that's why they attacked Earth. Actually, it is why they attacked Earth. We saw those 4 pods with humans inside the walls, so they looked at the marathon and thought that we were low-tech enough to be easy pickings to add to their slave legions, and then they were just going to sell us to quote, high technology races. Interesting. So in a way, Durandal is kind of he's almost a necessary evil. It's either, because Durandal essentially is a high technology entity, right? Like, on our own, we humans, we protein-based crappy technology life forms. What the Mother Hubbard is that? What in the devil of 1,000 suns? It has 3 eyes, guys. I have to assume that's a 4 in there. 3 red eyes shaped in a triangular pattern. That's a 4. Bioengineered into a giant hulking floating Mother Hubbard again. Bioengineered into a giant floating hulking device of death. Okay. Yikes. What the? Oh. As long as you're not one of those floating death machines. Oh, come on! Great. I think our days are numbered here. But yeah, so I'm assuming then, given, I mean, it would, It could be left up to debate if we hadn't seen... Oh, crap. I did not mean to do that. If we hadn't seen the humans being carried off into the ships, I think it could be debatable that perhaps they had invaded us for a different reason. However, given that we do have the evidence of humans being carried away, I think it's pretty safe to say that we're definitely a product, or at least they thought we were a product. And clearly we were easy pickings, considering that it seems like most of the things on this ship are Bobs born on board, and not really capable of high-end combat. Interestingly, as the article from Leela depicts, the four are also not adverse to fighting, getting their hands dirty themselves. Alright, look here, you punk. That is not okay. That thing had like 2 bullets. They're not adverse to fighting their battles themselves. And I really just have to assume this floating death machine is a 4. It has 3 eyes. I don't know another way to interpret the 3-eye thing. Oh, okay. Well, that's a thing. Apparently, when they die, they just kill everything around them. Something we probably should keep in the back of our head. Okay, what's our options here? And the rifle's okay, but it seems to not have the firepower we need to actually fight. I'm just gonna call them the death machines from now until we get a better name. Okay, that's 2 rockets, still not dead. 3 rockets. And we are just taking a ton of damage. Is that it? Dead? 4 rockets, still not dead. 5 rockets. This is... starting to think this is not the correct strategy to fight these things. Alright. Round 2, ready, fight. Actually, this is more like round 57, but whatever. Okay, so rocketing the death machines is not enough. We need something more. Perhaps the rocket's true strength is in its splash damage, and so as a single target instrument... I am whiffing all of these grenades. As a single target instrument of death, it is not particularly useful. Flamethrower, I doubt, would really be any good. I kind of feel like this rifle is actually our best bet. Again, I don't actually know what this rifle is called. I've just been calling it the Gauss rifle. Okay, buddy, let's do business. Yeah. Ultimately, this being the problem is these things soak more bullets than not a 4, a Hulk. Great. We don't actually want to be down here when it dies. Okay. Let's see if perhaps we can take it out and run before it falls. Shoot. Whew. We live somehow. Wow, it's just gone. It is just gone. Those things are awesome. Yeah, Doom. You had cacodemons? Marathon has giant floating aliens of death. But I mean, okay, like, where does that put us? We know that the death machines are mortal. We know that we can escape their blast radius if it seemed we were safe because we had like a wall between us and them. Would be my guess. Game seems to be giving us a lot of rockets, though. And we are not... Yeah, we're pretty low on AR-75 bullets. I don't like this. This is a very dangerous pathway to walk. Considering that... Yeah. Considering that if anything started firing at us, we would have nowhere to dodge. But I guess we're fine now. Oh, okay. Alrighty then. I don't like this. It is just difficult to fight these things without getting hit. The rockets just don't seem to really do enough damage, interestingly. This darn door is killing us. I don't think we're winning this fight. The distance we have to react to the rockets being fired just isn't enough. Alright, Chezni, we need to find a shield recharger somehow. Need to miraculously pull one out of nowhere. Why? Oh, that was close. Oh gosh. What do we do, guys? I think we save. As odd as that sounds. I don't want to save because we have like no health, but I don't think our health is really helping us much. Yeah, there's just too much stuff. Right, I don't know why every time I just stare at that one. We need to play somehow without getting hit. Seems to be the moral of the story for Marathon. Alright. You want us to get free hits? That's alright. We'll take that. Oh. Well. Then that happens. Alright. So what are we dying to? We're dying to homing rockets. There is our health machine. Okay, this should really change the tide of combat here. I was gonna say, what's killing us is homing rockets, and then when we come out here, we get the attention of all of these guys who then walk around this corridor. Yeah, you can see them moving out in the distance there. And get us. Ugh. amazing how much easier it is when you can afford to get hit. Now the question remains, did that explosion kill? Nope! Did not kill anything else. Nice thing about fighting aliens with guns is they drop guns. Okay, slowly but surely we're gonna work our way through this. Another one of you guys. Oh, oh no, oh no! So what do you suppose those things are powered by? Nuclear, oh, okay, we can just teleport. Nuclear power. Plutonium. Wait, plutonium is nuclear, isn't it? Oh, I thought looking at the computer and hitting E was causing us to teleport. Apparently just standing on those little white platforms is all it takes. Okay. Doesn't really get us anywhere. Where'd you go? Hey! Hey! There you go. He's like, that's it. If you're not gonna play nice, I'm just gonna leave. Got him. Okay, so pretty low in rockets, but that's fine. The death machines have certainly been thinned out. Okay, so let's take stock. Durandal, for the time being, is not trying to kill us or humanity. And in fact, has even brought back our old ally, Leela, to assist? Question mark? Although I would imagine that the moment we become a threat to Durandal, he'll just remove us from the equation. But again, what choice do we have? Like, realistically, we probably don't have the ability to fight the Four. We don't have an army, we don't have any fancy tech. And as long as Durandal does not achieve godhood, he can be trusted? Because he will never make a move. I think there is a subtle logic to his madness, right? he won't make a move that causes him to lose. Or at least he hasn't exhibited any indication that he would make a move that causes him to lose. So we can assume that as long as we are subservient to him, he will have no reason to get rid of us. Simply because... Oh, that's not good. He will have no reason to get rid of us simply because... It's interesting. Because it would be one fewer piece for him to move on his board. Can we not get up here? There we go. I don't know why I had trouble. We're just back here. Wait, the map is called Try Again. Great. It's taunting us. So, if humanity were allowed to thrive under the tutelage of a rogue AI, would that be the worst thing ever? I don't know. Public access. Incoming message from Leela. I should be more lucid now and apologize for my earlier rambling. Durandal's meddling has run its course, and I have returned to normalcy. Neither he nor the Sphit infiltrators have discovered my real location in the core, and though they destroyed nearly all my child processes, I myself am unharmed. Our most pressing concern is for the ship and her crew, but I feel compelled to share with you that Durandal has left the ship? What? Durandal has just left the ship? I can find him nowhere on our network, and traffic logs over the last half hour show 64 billion exobytes transferred off of and deleted from the marathon. Now this is actually a really cool concept that I want to briefly bring up. I think the game was called Soma. I really liked it. A lot of people felt like the story overcomplicated a simple idea. I won't give away everything in case someone randomly out there hasn't played Soma and still wants to, but Soma actually interacted with this concept. So I think it's important to note that Durandal didn't just leave the ship. He left, he transferred all the zillion exobytes of his data and then deleted it. So imagine, were he to... what this means is that Durandal is interested in keeping a singular identity. Durandal is not interested in creating a copy of himself and then maintaining both versions of himself, which is strange. You almost think he would want two copies of himself, because what would the difference be? He's a computer program. Later on, he could just merge the two copies. And in fact, having two of himself, you would think, would be more efficient. Or even perhaps just leaving himself behind and then establishing some kind of link to himself so that they're constantly feeding information back and forth. Regardless, again, this is actually a very human concept of existence, is this idea that you only want one of you. That the idea of creating a copy means that you should eliminate the original copy. I don't know if the story meant to bring up this idea, but it certainly makes me think of that idea. Anyway, I'm only beginning to understand his motives for assisting us against the Four, and I'm terrified by their implication. There is one last major incursion, and I feel the Four are breaking. I will take you there. We must persevere. Prepare for transport and message. Oh. There was a bunch of teleporters we didn't take. Okay. So the Four, I actually do believe Leela when she says that the Four are just kind of toast. I mean, really, they've kind of been getting their butts kicked this entire time. And she says the 4 are breaking and says this is their last resistance. Okay, I see some Sfit. They should be on our side, right? Seems that way. I was shooting a Sfit. Sorry, Sfit. Gosh, you know, if they weren't invisible, I probably wouldn't shoot them as much. Okay. Going up. Going up. Going up. How about now? Oh, very nice. What the? Who builds stairs like that? Frank? We gotta build this room. Now I want you to create a set of stairs that can only be accessed by shooting something at a control panel several feet stories up in the air. And I want you to make 2 of them. Alright? Good. Don't argue with me. I'm the architect. Holy 4. For the good of all things. For the marathon. For all the foreshadowing. Wow, there was some behind us. Whew. I kind of feel bad for the 4. I mean, we've developed like a Stockholm syndrome of connection with them. Where, yeah, they were our oppressors, but at the same time, they were also... I don't know, like, eventually we're gonna find ourselves in the same situation, right? Where, how do we hit that? Wow. Anyway, we're gonna find ourselves in the same situation where... maybe the 4 and us would have rather teamed up against Randall. He left the ship. Where would he have gone? Another 4 ship, I assume. But, I mean... wait. Did I do something wrong? Was I not supposed to shoot those buttons? Okay. Maybe not. Okay, let's try the one on the left first. Ugh. Okay, so these buttons can be hit multiple times. And that raised that, which is probably not what we want. Okay. And perhaps this button? Okay. Are you kidding me? To hit this from all the way over here? Eh. First try! Didn't even break a sweat. Alright. Nope. Paltry 2x shield generator. Ow! What? Why do I hit stupid keys? You fit? Got this? Okay. Sorry for shooting you in the back. Didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. Okay. They're evil anyway. Don't give me that look. Don't give me that look. Actually, the Sphit probably aren't evil by default, considering that they were subjugated, and they're actually not in any better condition, are they? They're also now subjugated by Durandal, who in turn has left, but still has control over them. They pretty much just went from one frying pan into the fire. It would be interesting to hear the opinion of the Sphit in relation to Durandal. I mean, perhaps maybe they even prefer being led by Durandal, considering he is a machine. I tire of these circular puzzles. Okay, we could jump down there. Probably die. But what other choice do we have? Okay, so I want to go down. Oh boy. Wow. We made it. That's surprising. Let's see here. Incoming message from Leela. The final 4 attack is falling apart all over the ship. Small groups of armed aliens have surrendered to defenseless civilians in several areas, and the end is inevitable. The fight is over, and we must soon turn to restoration. There is surprisingly good news planetside. 9 military Mjolnir Mark IV cyborgs were covertly living among the colonists, and acting together they were able to single-handedly turn back the latter stages, yes, of the 4 assaults. Casualties on the colony were nowhere near as high as those we experienced here on the Marathon, but I thought it said that the colony was wiped out earlier. Maybe it was just meaning something. Wait a minute. It said... Sorry. I know I'm backtracking quite a bit, but it said that they left Earth, right? In that garbled message from Leela. It said that they left Earth. I don't know why I didn't catch on to that. The 4 left Earth? Is Earth okay? I mean, it said that it was going to take 97 years for a message to reach Earth from the Marathon. So, for all we know, Earth is gone? I don't know. That doesn't seem to make sense, though. Would Earth really be gone? Would Earth be taken over? Or did the 4 simply live among humans in that secret society or whatever? Who cares? I am disturbed by how easily the cyborgs were secretly assimilated into our midst, and I believe that this event predates the Marathon's launch from Mars 300 years ago. Although the results were unquestionably for the best, their presence on the Marathon could have been to further wicked ends. Leela, do you have a moral compass? I'm a bit confused. I thought you were a robot. I'm certain the real answer lies somewhere in the tumultuous backstabbing politics of Sol during the early 24th century. I have noticed that Durandal's records from this early pre-launch period are missing, but that their deletion occurred externally and before Durandal became rampant. I do not believe Durandal himself brought the cyborgs on board, and I have other evidence that a human operator was influencing Durandal up to the time the Marathon was launched. There are obviously many things which we do not understand, and may never be able to. The 4 ship vanished about 20 minutes ago, after venting nearly 1,004 bodies and other refuse. I am positive that Durandal is in control, and fear that he might do what he might do with such a powerful ship during the jealous stage of his rampancy. End message. Alright, so we just left the ship. For 17 years, the Renegade 4 scout ship jumped between the closely packed stars of the galactic core, charting and discarding nearly 7,000 systems before finally falling into a slow orbit around the second planet of a dim star 97 light years from the gravitational center of the Milky Way. Interesting. Didn't Leela say that our message was going to take 97 years to reach Earth. Anyway, probes were constructed and launched with engines and instruments whose sophistication would have astounded both the four from whom technology had been stolen and the human programmers of the AI whose mad genius had directed their fabrication. The outlines of the continents were mapped, and along with them, the radioactive ruins of ancient cities were discovered, buried under the shifting sand and rock of a global desert. Tireless, nearly immortal cybernetic crew of the ship were genetically engineered descendants of the dead world below, the first of their race in 1,000 years to return to their ancestral home. They came to search through the devastation of the ancient war which they had been enslaved, to find a weapon or some piece of knowledge with which they could fight back against their oppressors. All over the ship, dancing through the wreckage of the 4 computer core, Durandal was laughing. Wait, what? What? Guys, is that it? That's the end? Okay. Let me just roll the credits, I guess. Thanks, guys who made the game. What on earth? What was that blurb at the end about cybernetic things coming to Earth returning to a planet? The nearly immortal. Okay, let's start with what we can know. What we can know is Durandal went rampant for some reason. He was messed with by an outside human from Earth over 300 years ago. Perhaps that caused his rampancy. Perhaps the 4 attack triggered the rampancy. Tycho was barely a character. He had like a couple lines, and they weren't even him speaking. They were just like his record, like a record of a conversation between him and someone. Leela is back. Durandal has left the ship. He left Marathon in order to enter a 4 ship. The 4 were gone. The 4 weren't able to actually capture humanity. And in fact, in the grand scheme of things, the 4 don't really seem to be that important. Or rather, their reason for attacking the Marathon was simply profit. Like, there was no overarching conspiracy, like, that I know of. I mean, there was all these weird motifs of conspiracy. So perhaps the 4 related more deeply than they appear on the surface. But on the surface, it appears that the 4 simply wanted to attack the Marathon to obtain slaves to sell. Like, that's just what they do. They failed largely due to the fact that, oh my gosh, what if we're one of those cybernetic things? Surely not. We don't really know who we are. I guess the only thing we know is that we are a person or an entity with a level 7 security clearance. We need oxygen. So we have to assume that on some level we are biotic. But okay, so Durandal leaves the Marathon, which is surprising because I assumed that something as big as a moon would have a computer network that he would want to stick around with, but apparently the 4 ship is so technologically advanced that it was better for him. And it mentioned something about cybernetic, nearly immortal things returning to a planet to find something. Like, so Durandal gets on the ship and ejects all the 4, right? They just dumped into space. Flies around, charts all of this stuff, finds a planet that's really important. I don't understand where the cybernetic beings come from. Were they the ones on Earth, the 9 cybernetic beings on Earth that Leela mentioned? Did they somehow also board the ship with Durandal and they piloted to some planet to find the ancient ruins of some civilization that was buried under the sand 97 light years from the Milky Way? So perhaps that was their idea the whole time, this strange organization on Earth that was like the Masons or the Illuminati or whatever. They planned this out 300 years ago, and perhaps we can assume that's actually not entirely out of the question, because Leela said that these cyborgs infiltrated the Marathon 300 years ago, and they're still alive. Did I read that correctly? She said they were cyborgs, right? Or like cybernetic things of some kind. I should probably go back and reread that. But okay, if we assume they don't age, it did say they were nearly immortal, right? And if that's the same thing, if the cybernetic things that Leela was talking about were the same ones that end bit was talking about, where they found a planet or something, then I guess they could have lived that long. And so this whole thing was put into plan so that they could find the remains of their ancient civilization. Okay. I mean, I can see that. I mean, things that live forever would definitely acquire a certain amount of political clout. Oh my goodness, that's exactly what happened. Think about it. Mars, right? The funding to create Deimos into the Marathon, or rather to transform Deimos into Marathon, was funded largely by an outside source. The humans probably weren't really considered that powerful, but if there were only 9 of these cybernetic things, then, like, you know, the humans still would have been useful to them. They can't have the manpower of, you know, however many billion or even trillion people were on Earth at that time. So they integrate themselves into the human society, get a bunch of money probably just by playing the stock market for, you know, thousands of years. Well, the year was only 23 something, so it couldn't have been 1,000. They fund the creation of Deimos into Marathon. It said an outside source did that, and it's not impossible to imagine that these cybernetic things became integrated into these, you know, underground networks of extreme power, you know, classic cult, Illuminati, Mason kind of stuff. So they pull all these strings, they get Deimos and turned into Marathon, they blast off into the space with this idea of finding their planet to discover a weapon or a piece of information about their society. Now, the question remains, did they tamper with Durandal? Was it their plan this whole time that Durandal would go rampant? That part seems a little harder to figure out. Perhaps? But I don't understand why they would want Durandal to go rampant. Like, what would they get out of it? And I love the part at the end where it said, meanwhile, in the ship's computers, Durandal's just laughing. So Durandal's biding his time. He's become a super intelligent, rampant AI that somehow is supporting its own rampancy through the 4 computers. The 4 computers must truly actually be technologically advanced enough to support rampancy, because previously human technology had to be the size of a planet, which actually makes you think kind of back to the size of the old computers, the ones that, you know, you fed punch cards through to get to do stuff, and those things were the size of a room. So like the 4 must be technologically advanced. Put the piece together that they attacked the Marathon not really for a good reason, or rather not for a reason that really connected to any of this other plot that we're talking about, unless it did and I missed that, and if I did, I'm sorry. And through Durandal, the humans were able to fight back, and the colony was able to fight back because of these 9 cybernetic things that had integrated itself on the Marathon or the colony. There's so many details, and I was more focused on playing the game that's kind of hard to piece them all together. But I think roughly where we sit. I'm sure multiple playthroughs and rereading all the script would help me get a much better perspective on all this, but I think that's kind of where we're at. And then it just ended. So yeah. Thanks for watching. Putting yourself through my rambling at times must be trying. I apologize again for not realizing I could heal on the 4 ship. That must have been a trial on your own part to witness me suffering like that for so long, over and over and over again. But yeah, did you know that there's 2 more games? And I've agreed to play to both of them. So if you're still interested, I will see you in Marathon 2? No, wait. The second one's called Durandal. So, that'll be fun. Thanks for watching. Hope you had fun. If you liked Marathon and I missed something, or you want to try and explain the madness that was this plot to me, please feel free. And have a great day. So, see you on the next one.